Hello, I'm Bret and you're watching the defining moment for creating the culture of conscience. Our guest today is Father Pedro Contreras. Father Contreras is a Catholic priest and is the founder and director of the American Hispanic School in Westminster, California, where he's also a professor there. Father Contreras was born in Bogota, Colombia, and served 2 years as a congressman in the Colombian National Congress. Father Contreras has a law degree from the National University of Colombia, an economics degree from the University of El Rosario, and an MBA from the University of Los Andes. He's been living in Orange County, California for the past 7 years. Father Contreras has been married for 25 years and has 5 children. Father Pedro Contreras, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the Defining Moment. Thanks for being our guest today.
Thank you very much.
I'm really happy to have you here. Our topic today will be character education. And before we get into today's topic, I want to give you a chance to share from your own life a defining moment which changed the course of your life.
Last June 29, I was ordained as a priest.
Just 1 year ago.
Almost 1 year ago. 52 years before, I saw the first priest ordination in the seminary where I was studying. It was in 1953.
You know, you told me before the show that you started in seminary at the age of 11.
Yes.
Very young
Very
to
young.
start in
I
seminary.
wanted to be a priest from 7 years or something like that. And I made mass ceremonies with my sisters, and they were bored, but I obeyed. I get to be obeyed by them. So okay. From that time, I studied there, but I saw that ordination, and I decided that I felt that God was calling me.
But
I didn't obey Him.
You didn't obey Him.
52 years later, last year, I became ordained as a priest.
Wow.
But mainly the Catholic Church from the Vatican Second Council decided to accept married people to become deacons, priests, and bishops, of course, under very strict conditions. Then I had the fortune to be ordained a priest 52 years later.
As a married man.
It was being married included.
Yeah.
It was my defining moment, definitely, because it decided me to give my whole life to God, to obey Him. I said, okay, no more usual life. I become to work for God full time. And I'm very happy, I'm very involved in my family too, and I am enjoying a lot because I guess I have a ministry to do here.
Yeah.
And what I am doing, obeying just God.
Excellent. Well, that's very, very beautiful testimony. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Now, once again, our topic is character education. And when we look at public schools in America, you know, there's no doubt that there's a huge crisis in terms of the moral, ethical, and spiritual values that are not being taught largely in public education. And one of the reasons it's a crisis is because people don't see that there's a crisis. And that's the worst kind of crisis, is when it goes unnoticed or ignored. So, how do you see the fact that so little investment is being made in character education here in America?
I see the crisis like an opportunity.
Like the Chinese teach about crisis, right?
Bring solutions. Then there are resources enough, but most of us don't realize what's going on with the values among our youth and in the whole society. So I guess that we as ministers and the leaders in every segment of the population, we must work in that very seriously, consistently, not like with a preach, like a sermon, one ceremony and that's all. No, it must be permanently, it must be our way of life.
So just giving a sermon is not enough.
No, no, no.
A major investment is needed to be able to really alter people's lifestyle and elevate people's quality of life by teaching these moral values.
I guess we must not worry too much about the amount of his investment. Is to take action.
Yeah.
If we take action with the words that we are preaching to the people, and we said that not only the kids, but also and mainly to the leaders and the families, and the families that are the root of our society, we will demand the resources, and I guess for the education and as many other issues, the money is not the problem.
Right. I guess what's missing...
We decide to do that.
Yeah, the desire and the commitment.
Yes.
To take action.
Yes. I guess that's the option.
Okay, very good. Thank you. I think that the parents who are most concerned about the situation in public schools have taken their kids out of public schools and put them in private schools or are homeschooling them. But that solves the problem for those parents, but leaves the vast majority of young people in the public schools without any real character education happening there, at least in a very limited way. So what do you think can be done to bring character education to the public schools?
I guess the very first is to go to the family. It doesn't matter if you, as a student, you learn something about values. If at home you have violence, you have drugs, you have infidelity, things like that, it doesn't matter what you learn outside.
Okay.
So you need to learn it in the school of love.
Okay. The family is the school of love.
The family is the school of love. And if there is an example and a model, that's the way. Then the very first focus should be there. Of course, the public school and private schools must be taught also the character.
Right.
But
it's not enough in your mind just to teach it in the schools.
It's not enough.
It has to be taken to the families.
Yes. And I guess we should make a big call, an alarming call to the teachers. What are you doing with the minds of the kids? Of course, the first responsibility is of the parents.
Yes.
But the teachers must be responsible to know the consequences of their attitudes and what they are teaching.
Yes.
If they request programs, there are a lot of programs. They request funds, there are a lot of funds.
So resources
are
available.
They must be accurate. Must be accountable for what they are teaching.
Yeah.
This is a big responsibility because they are almost as responsible like parents. Not so much on parents, but
I understand.
almost.
I understand. They have a major role
Yes.
in forming
Yes.
the character of the young people. And there's a lot of views or worldviews out there that aren't necessarily healthy for creating a high quality of life for young people.
And as far as parents' attitudes, should be teachers' attitudes. I guess this is one of the main concerns.
The teachers should be there to basically forward what the parents want to have happen, as opposed to bring another message.
And even teach parents.
Yeah.
Because they are making a good effort to involve parents.
Right.
For many uses, specifically for violence, things like that. But in values, in character education, it should be a joint effort.
Yeah. Okay, very clear. Another reason that it's obvious to me that there's a crisis in public schools is that there's so much evil in our society. There's been a deterioration in the moral fabric of our society. So young people, really, the odds are already stacked against them because there's so many forces in society that are leading them astray. And that comes through our culture, it comes through the materialism in our culture, and that's transmitted through the media or comes to kids through peer pressure. So in your mind, what can be done to begin to turn the tide, to change the direction of that in our society, to be able to give the young people a better chance?
I guess the pathway is to know that it's not to be changed in 1 year, 2 years. If you go to parents, you go to small kids, you will see the results in 10, 20 years.
It's going to take time.
Or then in the history, in the society,
Yeah.
in the plants, in the nature, it's not to do it quickly.
We can't expect immediate results.
No. But if we don't start now,
Right.
then when?
Exactly.
And if we don't do, people who is looking at this program at this time, if not you, who?
Right.
If not us, who?
Right.
And when?
Right.
Now. That's all.
Okay,
To
good.
start.
Exactly.
Or the option is, let's continue complaining. Oh, so terrible situation. You know?
Yes.
We need to work. We need to make, anybody must do their own portion. I guess it's not so difficult to understand that. This is a responsibility of the media, of course, but of the ministers.
Yeah.
Now, of course, that's okay, the sermons, that's okay, reading the Bible, that's okay, the preaching, but also the action. The action is be sure that people are improving their attitudes, their values, their character, their moral.
Yes. Now you come from a country, Colombia, which has experienced so much violence because of the drug cartels and the guerrilla that's there. You left Colombia 7 years ago to look for a better quality of life.
To save our lives.
To save your family's lives. So you've seen what can happen in a society when when the rule of law is lost and values are lost. You understand the kind of consequences that can happen. Do you see a similar danger in America?
Yes, and that's why it's so important that everybody, not only the students but the adults too, to know that we need to comply with the rule. And the system here is very different. We are really enjoying the freedom, but the freedom comes from responsibility. If we don't have the responsibility, freedom doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Then I guess that most of the new people coming, not brown people or yellow people or black people or white people, any race.
Doesn't matter
everybody.
What's your
we
ethnic
need
background.
To accommodate here with the society and believe in God and do the things well done and have responsibility specifically.
So you feel that responsibility is an essential virtue for freedom. In other words, there's no freedom without responsibility.
If we don't have responsibility, that's what happens, that you have the option, and God gave options. God gave us options. You may be responsible or not. It's up to you. And there are the results. If we are responsible, we have a good country, a good society, a good family.
Yeah. And you've fled a country where we've seen what can happen when things spin out of control.
Out of control, because there are not only guerrillas, narco-traffickers, self-defenses, and the army and the government, so there are 4 armies, and most people, a lot of people is dying and are refugees and so on. That is a very hard situation. We are sad really to see our country that, but we cannot do any more there, so we decided to come here.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen many tragedies. Your eldest son was killed by narco-traffickers.
I lived in that situation, and this is like an alarm to American society. You are sure that it will happen to you. It wouldn't happen to me.
Right. We have an attitude that we're fine.
Yes. Look at the other people. What happened? There are murders, assaults, things like that. But to me or from my family, no.
Right.
Many of my closest friends in the politics were murdered, and my older son was killed in a farm where he was working, and some other people were by the guerrillas. Not in that area. There was not a narco traffic at that time, but just guerrillas.
Yeah.
And then if you don't obey them, and you react if you don't pay them to take care of you.
Like a mafia in sense in America.
Yes, typical mafia. And we are looking at so many similar situations here with the gangs and things like that.
Right, exactly.
It's so dangerous. It may happen to us.
Exactly.
So it needs to be stopped. Yeah. And the main way is to have the values in the family. That's all.
That's the best way to ensure
the only way
the future of your community, your society, or your
it's not only police or social service concern.
Right.
No, it's ourselves, our families.
So a healthy society starts with healthy families.
Yes, restart. You know what happened with the computer when mess?
Restart.
Okay. Let's restart.
Okay, we need to restart our families. With virtues and values. Now, what are some of the essential values and virtues that are taught in character education?
I guess in character education, first, we need, the family needs to be informed, really, technically, scientifically, philosophically, religiously, who we are first. Because most of the people feel like we are like another animal.
So we need to understand who we are.
Who we are.
Our true identity.
Yes. We have a spirit. We have the body. Then we are different from animals. Many people feel themselves like animals.
Right. And that's a mistake to think that way.
Then, after that, I guess, the very first is the integrity. In many countries, including my country, we were taught from very, very early childhood to be liars. Everybody lies. Every man is adultery. Uses the adultery.
Very common.
You have 2, 3, 4, 5 women. As more you have, you are more man.
So it's like if you have a really good life, you have several girlfriends on the side.
Normal. If you are a kid and you don't have girlfriends or only 1 or 2,
right,
you are stupid. You need to have 3, 4, 5 so you become a man.
Right.
That's what they teach the people.
That's the kind of attitude.
So when they come here, they need to change it. Then it's not easy. But that's why the integrity, I value so much the integrity. We should say, when you decide to do that with your couple, you say, okay, from today on, no secrets, no lie. And some people, it's so hard. Try it.
Yeah.
I invite people very often, and I see results when they see them, and they call us back. Yes, try it just today. Okay? Forgive me, you forgive, I can forgive you, you forgive me, and no more lies. It is the very beginning of the integrity.
Yeah.
And we're lying when we are in the work, and if the supervisor is not around there, we are playing, talking. And when we feel the supervisor is coming, let's continue working.
So those are integrity issues that you're talking about. Yeah.
In my country, we don't obey the traffic signals. There is a stop, but nobody's around there. We go ahead. Integrity is to stop. It doesn't matter anybody is looking to me or not.
Yeah.
You don't need police to obey the rules.
Right.
Then that's a kind of integrity. The other is the compassion. Because we are so selfish. We don't take care about the others.
Right.
it doesn't matter who's going with my neighbor. I prefer not to know anything about the neighbor.
Right.
And if I heard that anybody cried or a kid is crying, I say, I don't hear.
Right.
It's not my problem. It's not my problem.
Right.
Then that's the second. And of course, the responsibility, that's the beginning of our being of sons of God. Be responsible.
You talked about that a minute ago. Great. Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. What can parents, teachers, and community leaders do to find out more about character education in hopes of being able to offer it to young people in their communities? Where can people find out more information or more knowledge? Where can they gain knowledge about character education?
I guess there are a lot of resources, but mainly the ministers and the priests, the pastors, must explore that area. There are many resources.
So the spiritual leaders should really be leading that.
Yes, I guess they should, because they touch the souls of the people, and people need that guidance, and people follow the leaders.
Yeah.
So anybody who has leaderships in this society is responsible for what's happening with the society now and in the future.
Also, I want to mention a book on this subject, which people can find on Amazon.com, Cultivating Heart and Character, by editor Tony Devine. If you put Cultivating Heart and Character in the Amazon search engine, you'll find this book. And this is an excellent resource in terms of giving young people clear guidance about how to best prepare themselves for happy marriage and really happy future, happy lifestyle.
Yes. That's a wonderful book because it condenses a lot of ideas from character education through the world for years and years ago. And I guess that we are not talking about my family, my community, even my country is for the whole world.
All humanity.
We don't work with the whole, looking for all the humanity with love and character with everybody and responsibility and integrity. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we have to see ourselves as one human family.
Yes, only one.
Otherwise, we're not going to be able to solve the problems.
You're right.
that we all face.
That's the point.
There's no other viewpoint that's really appropriate, that's effective in being able to empower people. We have to understand that we're all part of one family.
Yes. When I teach democracy in my school, most of our students are Hispanics. And I tell the people, do you know why United States is involved in every single conflict or situation in anywhere in the world? I tell them, because here there are a million people from Asia, million people from Africa, from Europe, from South America, and we have families there.
Yeah.
We have relations there.
Yeah.
If you are in France, in any country, you don't matter what's going on in Africa, or in South America, or in Asia, because it's short. You are just French and that's all. It's no problem. But here, if anything happens in Senegal, if anything happens in Korea, anything happens in Germany, anything happens in Brazil, concerns to millions of people from those countries that we are here.
That live in America.
That's why we are, this country is so blessed, not only because races, but religions, nationalities. So that's why we are concerned with the whole world. And we understand that here, in my country, we hardly defend ourselves.
Yeah. So you're saying that one of the greatest strengths of America is its diversity.
The most.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why God has blessed this nation, is the diversity that America represents.
Yes. And I tell my students, if you are here, it doesn't matter 8 years or 8 days to be here. You are Americans. You go Germany, only Germans, and no immigrants. And you go China, only Chinese.
Right.
And you Egypt, only Egyptians, and no. And you Mexico,
understand.
only Mexicans. And you see here, only immigrants and a few natives. We all are immigrants. It doesn't matter 10 years, 5 years, 20 years, 100 years.
Yes.
We all are immigrants.
America is a nation of immigrants.
Fortunately.
The last question I want to ask you is, how can young people better prepare themselves for the challenges of creating a happy, healthy, lasting marriage? What's the best way young people can prepare themselves?
To have the courage, not to be coward. Because if anybody who is not able to say, I say my sons and many people, you don't obey the pressure of your peers, because you have courage.
Don't give in to peer pressure.
Don't give up. Everybody has a conscience,
yeah.
And most of them know that's not good, but they don't dare to say no. They shame.
So you're referring specifically to what?
To drugs, to violence, to sexual relations being kids. That's crazy. And even it's so dangerous. But they don't realize that, because some people say, because everybody does. That's not true. Not everybody does. I have few. You count, there's a few people. Then I guess that the teachers and the parents and the leaders must realize that with the students or the kids, to say, be courage, don't be coward.
Yeah, so the best way that young people can prepare for marriage, in your view, is to have the courage to say no to drugs,
yes,
no to sex
not
before
to sex
marriage.
Before. Yes.
And other negative influences
yes,
that are confronting the youth.
Is to be healthy, yes, okay. They love to be strong and healthy, but just to have some support from parents and teachers too.
Excellent. Father Pedro Contreras, thank you so much for being our guest today on The Defining Moment. It's really been a pleasure.
Thank you for
to
inviting
have you
me
here. Thank you so much. You've been watching The Defining Moment for Creating the Culture of Conscience. You can find us on the internet at www.definingmoment.tv. Thanks for watching and have a great day.